Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. The wild card series are over. Kaput. Done. We're moving on. The playoffs are normal from here on out. How about that? Let's talk about it. Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. Thank you very much for joining us today as we recap the two games that were yesterday. We're coming to you live from the Roosevelt Studios here in the Bronx. That's RSVLTS. Oh shit, Trev's got, for anyone watching live on YouTube, Trev's got a Roosevelt shirt on. I have a Roosevelt sweatshirt on, and you have a Roosevelt's collared shirt on.
Tasty.
We didn't even plan that.
Love you, Roosevelt.
Oh.
Trevor, that's the exact one that Mookie was wearing, right? Off his back. Yeah, okay. Rumors.
Close. Anyway,
Not really.
my name's Jimmy. Jake's sitting over here. Trev's in California. BBD behind the dish. And we got two games to recap. Put a bow on the wild card series. What'd you guys think of the wild card series as a whole? Can we do? We're going to put 10 minutes on the clock for each game. But like, I saw a lot of tweets come my way, and I love having Twitter because I get so many different opinions come my way. And some open my brain. And a lot were like, this was really bad baseball. Like, we saw some bad baseball in a lot of these games. 3 fun games, but there were some teams where it's like, oh, you don't belong here. Yeah. And I think I agree with that. I get really torn because I think it was good for casual fans and bringing in new fans, but it's also an introduction to some, like, boring and some bad skill play. But then some really great stories as well. So I don't know. I'm torn. You guys got any thoughts on this?
I'm okay with it for this year. For me, unfortunately, it ties into bigger conversations about going forward and getting this many teams in the playoffs. And it is too many teams. So that's kind of the overbearing thing. I mean, I do like a 3-game set. And I hope they, take from, I always blank. Is it the Korean League? Is it the CPBL?
Japanese,
I forget, but they do the wild card that's 2 games, but the lower seed has to win both games, right?
Yes.
So, I'd like to see something like that get implemented because coming down to a 1-game playoff, I think, is more messed up than what we're doing. I understand the pressure and the excitement of that 1 game.
So the Padres would have been out.
Right. Padres would have been out.
Is that the only team that lost the first game but won the next 2?
Oakland.
Oakland would have been out.
Oakland would have been out.
In that, because if you don't win, you have to win out in the first round. You have to win both games, or if you're the higher seed home team, you just win 1.
So I think if you don't let that many teams in, and then you can kind of take the 2-game/3-game idea from this, I think I would like it a lot. And like I said the other day, I really enjoyed the brackets part of it. Everyone talking about their brackets and it's busted, and it's like, that's not really a baseball
and
thing.
And the word bubble has been around a lot, so you're getting all your March Madness fix in now.
Yeah, I mean, this is,
It was funny to hear Aguilar and some Marlins fans say, like, we're going to the bubble.
Yeah.
Like it's a new term now.
We made it
we're
to
going
the
to the
Bubs.
dance.
So, I don't know, and at the other time, I get it that, the Cubs who, win the NL Central and, have, Rossi, and they still got the same gang. They're looking back now at 2 games and being like, what the hell happened? We go cold for 2 days and our season's done. So, I don't know. Trevor, what do you got?
I like the 3-gamer. I don't think it needs to change to the 2, win 2 or go home, whatever it is. I think they just need to get the number of teams down.
Well,
you have the
sorry to cut you off.
Wow.
But the 1 seed needs an advantage. Don't you agree with that?
I just don't. The 1 seed doesn't have to be in the wild card.
Yeah.
Like it should be 3 winners, 2 wild cards. Those 2 wild card teams play each other in a 3-game series. The winning team gets the home field advantage. I like that. And then you just go into the division series. I just think there's too many teams, like you said. Like you need to earn the right to be in the postseason. Sub 500 teams should never be in the postseason. So I think I like the 3-game format, but there's just too many. It's too many teams.
And also, I think the other thing that comes into play when we've talked about this is, baseball and rest aren't really necessarily a great formula. So I don't know. I mean, there's got to be a way that you can line it up that you play a 2-3-game wild card, and then you could still have other teams, if they pitch their 1 and 2 guys on the last 2 days of the season, that maybe they're lined up for perfect rest for for a 5-game series or something. So there's got to be a right way to do it. This is too many, and you do have some bad teams in. And I mean, I think we're gonna have some more AL NL Central talk this episode. But yeah.
I don't know how to do it if you can drop it to 7 really easily. I don't know how you do it if you want it at 6. Maybe you give the top wild card also an advantage, and there's 4 teams waiting.
Are you giving a bye to anyone?
I was giving the division winners.
I think 3. You give the top 2 a bye.
Okay.
It should be the winners of the division, and then the best 2 records after that, and those 2 teams.
But that's what they have now, Trev, and they want to expand. So we're not going to get that.
It's dumb. 10 teams is all you need in the playoffs. 10 teams. Yeah. What do we had 16 this year? It's a joke.
They want 15. I don't know how they do that though. They can do 14, 7, and 7.
I don't know, man. It's just way too many. I mean, it makes the regular season worthless.
I agree. With 160 regular season, it would all be worthless.
Reward the top 2.
Yeah.
We'll save some of that for the offseason.
All right. Yeah, we got 10 minutes on the clock. Let's get into game number 1 here. The Miami Marlins shut out the Cubs. It's 2-0 final score. Sixto Sanchez pitches really well. Koopa Loop gets the big homer. And, Yu Darvish pitched well as well. The Cubs just didn't do anything. I believe they had the bases loaded at one point. I have some thoughts on the managing from probably manager of the year, Donnie Baseball. But I will throw it to you, Jake, first. Or Trev, I don't know who has any firm thoughts here.
I was close to playing on these Marlins, so I'll go first. And it looks like the 4th inning was the inning that they had the bases loaded. Hey, good for Sixto. We kind of did some turkey math on this show where we're like, okay, the teams that haven't seen him yet have struggled. And, this guy's supposed to be a primetime player with some nasty stuff. So he goes out and he shoves, and Darvish also shoving. He, Coop gets him 2 outs in the 7th inning. And again, it's the, Darvish is rolling. You're not going to pull him there. This Cubs Achilles heel, besides their lineup that turned into a giant Achilles heel, was the bullpen. That's it. It was a fear factor last year. They've still been figuring it out this year. They found some solutions between Wick and Jeffress. I think Wick was out and hurt this series. Jeffress got knocked around in the first game, and Kimbrel's kind of been a mess throughout. So with that looming over your team, and 0 hitting, you leave yourself susceptible to it's 0-0 in the 7th inning in Wrigley, and Garrett Cooper does clip one. Garrett Cooper, who's a nice little hitter. I know he was a Yankees farmhand.
No, is a Brewers.
He came over to the Yanks for a little bit. I think the Rockies, right? He was in Brewers. He was in Colorado Springs, which should be the Rockies AAA team, but it is the Brewers AAA team. He came over, and all he's done as a major leaguer is hit a little bit. He's got like an 800 OPS. He clips one, and then from there, the Cubs go into this like hope we get someone on and hit a homer, and it never happened the whole series. So Magnarius.
I got something on that one.
What do you got?
I don't know. I was watching the game.
Yeah.
Second and third, or no, it was first. What was it? First and second.
No outs.
And 2 outs. I believe.
For who? Who's the hitting team here?
The Marlins were. That was when the guy hit the second run in.
Magnarius.
I'm watching the game.
Sierra.
I tweeted this out yesterday. 2 outs. Not holding the runner on at first, obviously, because it's first and second. Anthony Rizzo was on the grass, like 3 or 4 steps on the grass, and I have no idea why. Like, okay, if he bunts, so be it. It's bases loaded, 2 outs. And he's a lefty. The third baseman can come play up if he wants. And Darvish can take the first baseline in a bunt situation. But again, you're not really worried about the bunt with 2 outs. But he was up. Sure enough, first pitch slider, he turns on it and hits it in the 3-hole right past a diving Anthony Rizzo, who should have been behind the runner, and would have fielded that easily. And that's 1-run game is a lot different than a 2-run game. So it was very strange to me. I have no idea why he was up there. And I tweeted that out. Nobody really cared. I was hoping some Cubs fans were going to enlighten me with why he was doing that, but nobody did.
And
so
Trev,
racking my brain.
You listed your tweet beautifully because, the first statement out of someone would be, Sierra's this incredible speedster. He's watching out for the bunt. But your counterpoint is perfect. Let him bunt. Okay. If he wants to bunt, knock yourself out. Wallach's on deck, the 9-hole hitting catcher. If that's really what they want to do, knock themselves out. And I don't think Sierra was going to do that anyway. So that was a great self-retort by you.
I just don't know why he was up.
I'm looking at it now. It's to protect the bunt because he thinks they're trying to move both runners into scoring position.
2 outs, though.
But there's 2 outs.
Yeah.
That seems like just whatever. I mean, Cubs lost.
He is known. He loves taking bunts away. So they've developed bunt plays where he just crashes and he goes in. He's right in your face when you bunt. That's what he likes to do. He likes to play up like that. But in that situation, I mean, you're essentially just giving up that 3-hole for no reason.
Ball goes right past him.
Goes right past him. If he's 5-6 steps back, right behind the runner, which he should be, it's a typical place to play when you're a first baseman in that situation.
Cubs don't get a run, though, so it's hard to look at anything but the offense. But that is an interesting and good point for baseball strategy. But Ian Happ gets 2 hits. Love that. Hayward gets 2 hits. Those have been the dudes for them.
That's been it, man.
That's been it.
It's bizarre, man. Baez 0 for 4. Bryant 0 for 4. Rizzo 0 for 4. Schwarber 0 for 3. I mean, these are dudes that have been there a lot, and Baez had that quote before about, not being able to watch the game tape and why are we being punished for the Astros action. And, you wonder how much of this team relied on that. Was stuff like that getting in their heads, or was this just kind of a weird lost season for them? I mean, we just listed some of the best ball players at their positions in baseball, and these guys were kind of offers all year.
Yeah, and there's a lot. The Cubs have one of the more fascinating off seasons that we're about to see because there's a lot of guys here. They can't keep them. Do they want to keep them? Do they trade them? Is their window closed? Is it time to not rebuild but reset? I don't know. That's a conversation for another time. I want to give the Marlins some credit here, and specifically Donnie Baseball. Sixto Sanchez is a rookie starting a game. Now they do have. The Marlins and Donnie do have a bit of cushion because it's not a do-or-die game for them. But Sixto, in the 3rd inning, walked the first 2 batters. It's a tie game, and Donnie Baseball didn't panic. Just let him work out of it, and he does. He goes line out single, another single, so he puts another gun on, and then gets the fly ball from Baez. In the next inning, he gets the quick out, and then he gives up 2 singles. So now you got 1 out, 2 on, tie game. And Mattingly doesn't panic again and trusts his guy to finish it. And Sixto finishes it. So I think that's cool for a rookie. And I think that's an established manager handling a rookie pitcher and instilling trust in his guy. The opposite of what we kind of saw with Renteria and the White Sox. So I like that. And then it's clear they had a plan after that. They had 4 relievers they were going to go to. And the Cubs and their bullpen kind of were fine too. It's just the Cubs bats.
And that's not what you'd expect at the beginning of a series, talking about those guys. But I saw the stats they were talking about Bryant since 2016. The postseason's really struggled and obviously didn't have a good year this year, and it rolled right over into the playoffs. And that's you got to have that guy going. I don't know what I'm going to check Rizzo's stats this year.
Well, you do that, Trev. Your guy, Matt Joyce. Matt Joyce, 1 for 2 with a walk and an outfield assist. Contreras at the dish.
Play.
Yeah.
Great play. Yeah, he's a ball player, man. He's been doing it for a long time, and just that is. I mean, how many times do you practice that throw as an outfielder? A lot, and he got it in the game and just perfect, on the money, 1 hop. Probably gave the shooter McGavin afterwards, just like that. Good to see him.
Only closing note from me, Jim, you mentioned Sixto. How about the Marlins bullpen? They go 4 shutty at Wrigley, and it's not a lot of dudes I mean, it's Boxberger, who's famous from wearing the emoji Players Weekend shirt. Dick Blyer, former Orioles stud. Yimi Garcia, who hits Contreras, and they're having some fun. And then Kinsler, who's 10 years in the league and some highs and lows of baseball for him and kind of embodies a little bit of these Marlins not getting love and doing it. Kimbrel and Jeffress, a couple guys who have made all-star games and are, have had huge years as relievers. Boxberger, Blyer, Garcia, Kinsler.
Yeah. Yu's quote afterwards was really good as well. He said, I really just wanted to get a win so Lester could pitch again and Wrigley one last time. And that's like, damn, man, okay. Pull on the heartstrings a little bit for us here. But, yeah, other than that, the Miami Marlins are sitting in the dugout, sitting on the field, smoking cigars, talking their shit because they deserve it. I like that. Miami Marlins Twitter account's posting all the videos. Catch flights, not feelings. It's fun, man. Baseball is actually learning how to have fun. The bottom feeders.
Of shit talking going on. There's a lot of shit talking.
A lot of shit talking. Like Acuna and Bauer shit talking. We talked about that a little bit on one of our programs. But then they tweeted at each other like joking. Like it was like, it's fun. It's just good fun. So I like the end of that. But I don't know if anyone's heard this clip. I tweeted it out, but I know not everyone that listens to this podcast on Twitter. But this is after game 1 of the season. What's his name?
Ricky Batalico, pride of CCSU, baby.
He does the post game for the Phillies. He dropped this, and from game 1, Miami heard this somehow, got on the radar. They remembered it, and now they're embracing it.
You have to beat the bottom feeders. And if you don't think the Marlins are bottom feeders, we'll see what happens, in a couple weeks and see who's beating up on them and who's not. I mean, if they're that good of a club, because I don't see it. I don't know what you saw tonight, but I wouldn't say they're a juggernaut by any stretch of the imagination.
Cuts to Aguilar wearing a shirt that says the Miami Bottom Feeders, smoking a cigar, celebrating the win, and he says this.
Don't get mad at us, okay? I just saying.
You guys started it, not us.
We gotta fly tomorrow. I don't know you guys.
It's really good.
I think me and Jesus Aguilar could have a good time together if he just gave me a chance. B, and I mean, this is where every team, every season is going to have their things. When you get on first base, you look at the dugout, you do something. This is the definition of don't force it. Game 1, Batalico calls them bottom feeders. There's also some fish stuff there, the halibut, flounder, the sole. And yeah, they hang this shirt in their dugout, which is like, they go up to hit and they see that shirt that they're bottom feeders. Like they've rallied behind it. They're having fun, and we'll be talking about some of the divisional stuff coming up for all the DS games.
You need
it's gonna
something.
be fun.
Trav.
You need something.
Now some teams force it. The Yankees kind of force it, and then they change halfway through their season where they come up with a gesture when they get a hit. It was the thumbs down came around organically. The Brett Bang came organically. This year it's an elbow thing. I think it's for Tommy Kahnle and Tommy John, but we have no idea. The Rangers have had the antlers and the horns and the claw. The Nats had Baby Shark. Did the Twins that you played on ever have something like this, or was there ever conversations to get something like this?
I mean, we had stuff, but we are such like an old school, like be respectful type organization, especially in the years that I was there. So it was like, we do it, but do it real subtly. We had, silly stuff. It has to come organically. If you try to force it, it's ridiculous. It just looks stupid.
Yeah.
We had something like brings a tear to my eye and would just go right here when he got on base. Just a real small little tear. And stuff like that. But like I said, we were so old school, so much about respect there that it was like, do your job. It was like we wanted to be Bill Belichick, shut up and do your job, but we just did never do our job.
That's what the Yankees were like that forever. And then that thumbs down dude and Todd Frazier kind of flipped the script, and it was like, oh,
you guys know I created that. I told you that.
Yeah.
What do you mean you created that?
You were that guy in the suspenders.
No, we played a home game.
Oh, yeah.
Played a home game in Met Stadium.
Yeah, you were that game.
I made an error with 2 outs that let Todd Frazier come up to bat, and he hit that fucking homer. And then homeboy in the stands was like, gave the thumbs down.
Full circle.
Then it was the thing. So you guys are, if that was fun for you, you're welcome.
Yeah.
It wasn't very fun for me.
All right. That's it. I think that's all we got on this
Good
game
job,
anyway.
Fish.
Good job, Fish. Excited for the next matchup.
We got another game.
Oh, yeah, and the other game is a big one, Game 3. The second Game 3 of the Wild Card Series Out of 8 series, only 2 went 3 games. I think that shows the disparaging skills. Anyway, Padres and Cardinals, and this one is another fun game. The Padres have to bullpen the game because they lost 1 starter. They lost 2 starters, and they bullpen a game for like the 3rd time in a row. I really liked how they went about it. I thought Tingler did well with that. Jack Flaherty dealt. He was really good. This game, it ends up 4-0. Cardinals just couldn't score. There were some dumb mistakes defensively for the Cardinals, but they don't really come into play. Same with the Cubs, because when you put 0 runs out there, that's not good. But I really liked Tingler. It seemed like they definitely worked backwards. They definitely said, okay, Rosenthal's going to be the 9 guy, Pomerantz the 8, Pagan the 7, and then we got to figure out how to fill the rest. And, Stammen sees 6 batters. He's out. I'm guessing that was the plan. And then Tim Hill comes in to close out that inning, and then they let him go. The next inning for a couple guys. Then Pierce Johnson comes in. At one point, there was bases loaded, right? And someone got out of it? Yeah. There was 2 on. They bring Austin Adams in for 1 batter to get Goldie. So they might have had him as their Goldie weapon. Okay, if Goldie comes up and there's runners on, let's bring Adams in, and he's just the Goldie guy. Seemed like they had a plan, and it worked out well for them. No injuries, so nothing got really messed up there. And then it's the Tatis double, and then it's the Hosmer double, and then it's the Tatis intentional walk, and the other 2 runs were just that bad play by Edman. Cronenworth, good. I don't know. Padres are a lot of fun.
Trev, hit it off.
No, they're a lot of fun. We talked about what Jack had to do to put his team in a position to win. He did exactly that. His final line was 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 8 Ks. He did his thing. Gave up the doubles to Hosmer there and Tatis. But like you said, man, it was just the offense, and that happens. You go cold. Your offense can go cold, especially a bullpen day like. It would seem like that's going to be to your advantage, like a bunch of guys who aren't good enough to be starters. But the way they can match up now and the information they have on each player and how they can – that makes it tough. When you're facing a new guy every inning, it's very difficult to get into some sort of a rhythm. So this is something we always see during the playoffs, but the Padres are kind of taken to the extreme level because they have to. They don't have enough starters to get them through. That's going to be really interesting to me. Can those guys come back? Are they saying they're going to come back? Do they have a chance to in the DS?
I think Lamet has a decent shot. I think he was a coin flip for this series.
There was some update that Clev is still throwing. Like, he's not shut down.
He's still trying. He had a good throwing sesh that got everyone excited, and then he had a bad one. So he's maybe for a CS. I think Lamet should be there for the DS.
You could, like I said, you could do the bullpenning thing, and if it works right, it's tough on a hitting team. But when the guys have to go back to back, then their stuff's not as sharp, and then that's when you're going to see teams start to tee off.
Did any Cardinal batter see a pitcher twice?
That's exactly what I was about to say. No, they really didn't, tough. And that's when a bullpen day looks and feels awful. We've, the Rays, who kind of started this, we saw that a lot with the Yankees, by the way, they're going to play. And the first time you see it, it's so painful. You're just walking into a new, different at-bat every time. When a bullpen day goes awry is when, 2 of the 9 guys who pitch don't have it that day. And that's where Jace Tingler is getting a lot of credit, and he does deserve it. He put his guys in successful situations. They weren't going to leave in that guy for the extra batter to try to sneak the out against Goldie, because guess what? That backfires you. You bring in Tim Hill for Matt Carpenter with runners on base, because that's where you can get burnt. So he put his guys in a good position, and that's all you can do. Credit to all the pitchers. Nobody got. Nobody. And, this Cardinals team, yes, it's Goldie and then a lot of pieces. Yachty sent 2 to the track. Fowler, I think, did 2. The ball wasn't traveling too well in San Diego.
I was watching that. Oh, yeah. I thought it was gone.
That was tough. I think if this game was played at a lot of different stadiums, you would have had like 3 homers on each team probably, but it wasn't. And yeah, man, good for the Padres. And they brought out some young dudes. Patino is 20, 21. Yeah. Morajón is 21. So kudos to Tingler, but kudos to all of those pitchers because everyone had it. Everyone had it. I think the only guy that was in the maybe category was Pierce Johnson, and he gets the out he needs, and they rightfully pull him. So good for the Padres. And, yeah, Jack, he shoved that third time through the order. Well, that, again, everything we just talked about that makes a bullpen day good. This is their third time seeing him. He gets down 2-0 to Tatis. Tatis jumps a sinker, and then Hosmer jumps a first-pitch sinker as well. So Jack was great. And then,
that pitch to Tatis, man.
Yeah.
That was in. He pulled his hands in. That's a hell of a job right there. That's a good pitch by Jack, and Tatis just, like, gets the barrel to everything, dude.
That I think the Tatis guy is going to stick.
Austin Adams gets the win. He faced one batter.
Huge. Reyes comes in out of the Cardinals pen, and it's a little bit of like, not only did we get Flaherty, kind of. I mean, you're technically winning, but now we've got someone else on the mound. And, yeah, that inning, I mean, talk about TFA in baseball when things fall apart. Things can get ugly quick. I mean, Cronenworth, he gets second pitch single, and then it's like, okay, now the dogs are out. Flaherty's gone. Let's do this. Let's end this game. Fielder's choice. They walk Tatis. Wong throws it away. And then there's the play, the chopper to Tommy Edman, and he rightfully misses third base, which I do think he tried to do to leave the force at home. Molina can't see that from his angle, and Molina's off the bag trying to make the tag. I
don't think he missed on purpose.
No, he
really
tried to touch it, yeah.
Yeah, because his reaction was very much like, fuck.
And Molina knew he had to tag
and he
him.
reached his foot backwards after he jumped.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought that was the play to leave the force out at home. I thought it was kind of heady by him.
Man. Yeah, Molina caught it like he was trying to tag.
I know, but that's what I think Molina. I don't think Molina could see that from his angle.
But he didn't even have his foot on the base.
Well, he was trying,
because you'd assume that he would step on third base. But I think the right play there is to not step on the base and leave the force out.
You get 2 outs, bro.
I think. Well, you end up with 0. I don't think you can really get 2 outs in that situation.
What do you mean? He could have taken 2 breaths, stepped on third base, and fired to Yachty's chest. Got 2 outs. He rushed the whole thing.
It was a chopper. It was a chopper.
He came down with it. Thought he was trying to touch third, and then create a lane for a Yachty to be able to tag. The problem is he palmed the ball and threw it into the ground. He one-hopped.
It was a terrible throw. Terrible throw.
So it was just a bad play.
If he steps on third, I don't think they're getting 2 outs there, and I think the run scores.
Of course he would have.
It was easy.
If he would have stepped on third and made a good
throw. Chopper. It was a chopper.
It wasn't like
runners are going on contact.
I don't think so, man. I love you.
Fair.
Is this a Tommy Edman apology tour?
No, I'm
He made it. He just made it. It sped up on him. Happens, man. Yachty almost made the play. Sort of.
Almost.
He made the play afterwards, the double play, and they gave him so much love.
If Yachty keeps his foot on the base and catches the ball, I mean, it's an out at home.
Well, he didn't know he missed the base, dude. How are you supposed to? He went to try to hit the base. He
can't see from that angle. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know, Jay.
Yeah,
that's
Jay,
the game.
I mean, I don't know if you want to. It's not close.
What's not close?
At home, if
I watched the play.
Like if he just steps backwards, touches it right there,
right,
collects himself and fires to
But
Yachty.
then you take away the force. That's what I'm saying.
But
you lose the double play, but you don't let a run score. I think if you when you step on third there on that chopper, I think you're basically guaranteeing the run scores.
Oh, I think it's an easy double play.
Yeah, if you lose the force, you just have to tag him. It's not like it's like he's gonna score.
But that's a really hard throw with a bases loaded chopper, runner gunning down the line on contact. You step on third there, you take the force. I think you're basically guaranteeing the run scores.
When I saw the replay, it looked like to me he tries to touch third base. He realizes mid-throw that he didn't touch first base. And I think he panics and he chokes the ball and throws it into the dirt. That's basically what I saw.
That's how I read it as well.
Fair.
He knew he fucked up, and he's like, "Oh shit, I didn't touch the base," and then panicked. It's a tough play. I mean, you don't have a lot of time to create a lane at that because it is a chopper. You touch the base. You don't have. I mean, maybe you have enough time to clear a lane and throw, but at game speed like that, you're probably just gonna try to sidearm it, tail it back into the catcher. But he just choked it. No, he didn't choke. I'm saying he choked the ball. Tough play.
Didn't matter because they didn't score any runs.
Didn't score any runs.
Bang.
Bang.
Carlson didn't hit a homer for you.
Mm.
It's tough.
Wow.
Anyone hit a homer for you?
I don't even know who I had. I have no idea.
Wow. Flex.
I don't think anybody hit
Nobody had Cronenworth and Cooper, so no.
Oh, well, Trev, you win the regular season.
I did?
Yeah, you won the regular season.
Remember,
I won the homer draft.
You were.
You won the regular season homer draft, yes.
Oh, now we're doing a playoff one?
I would like to keep it going. I think it's a fun segment on the pregame show. It's
Let's
just
go,
a
baby.
totally different thing.
You were tipsy off a couple Sierra Mist last night, and you called us last place fucks.
I thought we were still going. I thought you were just in last place. I know you actually got last place now. So, yes, you guys are last place fucks.
It's true.
Yeah. Last place does fuck.
Sometimes.
Tied for last place, too.
Yeah.
It's even worse.
Tied for second, tied for last.
Anything else in this game? I mean, I loved the celebration for baseball fandoms cheering about baseball. COVID optics, obviously, it's really weird. For the Braves, I was saying the same thing. Like, what the hell? There was a close-up where they ran down the line, and there was a lot of masks being worn, which is good. I like that shot. Gave me a little more like, okay, good. But, all right, so I know that this is impossible for some people. It's not impossible for me. If you take the COVID optics out of it and just like, wow, baseball is growing, and the Padres are so good for baseball, and Tatis is so good for baseball, and it sucked to see all the gatekeeping about, like, it's not the World Series, because these kids have never seen their team win a playoff series in their life. And if they were alive in 98, then it's been 22 years. As a Yankees fan, as a Dodgers fan, you don't celebrate these small feats because they happen somewhat often. I think that scene is just really good for baseball. Like, really good. Like, I mean, Tatis.
The Tatis effect, man.
It's the Tatis effect, dude. He's got international appeal. MLB better not fuck this one up because he, I think, wants to be marketed, is marketable. Put him everywhere.
He's a stud. The whole team, I mean, like that team right now is good for baseball. It's a lot of big dick energy, like running around, hitting homers, pimping everything. It's just fun. It's a highlight reel of a team. Defensively as well, you got, I mean, Machado and Tatis on the same side of the ball is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
That's one of the best left sides of the infield we're going to see.
There's a scene in when the 1980 U.S. Olympic team beat the Russians. Now, this is a drastic comparison, but there's a little comparison here. There's a shot where the U.S. team is celebrating so much, and it's not the gold medal, remind you, just beating Russia to get to the gold medal. And the Russian team is just their chin on their sticks watching the celebration. And they interview some of the Russian players, and they say, we hadn't celebrated like that in 2 decades. We forgot how fun winning is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I think baseball has a little bit of that going on. There's been so many old heads gatekeeping the sport for so long that, you know, we're getting bat flips back into play. It's winning the battle. Fun in baseball is winning, but that's how I kind of think a lot of people felt, or like as a Yankee fan, I felt watching a fan base go crazy over that series win, because I do have a little bit of me like, oh, dude, it's just the wild card. But then I'm like, well, why do I think that?
Right.
Have fun.
Hell yeah, have fun. That's why people pop champagne after every series. Like, why not?
Yeah, that's like even Jeter, whose quote was, if you lose in the World Series or you don't make the playoffs, you fucking lost. What's the difference? But then he would always celebrate after each series, and he would just say like, yeah, well, you know, you have to enjoy this.
Yeah, I do think, and I mean, this is full-on devil's advocate because I do like it, but, you know, I leave it to Padres fans. I'm sure there's some Padre fans that are out there saying, like, hey, let's wait to celebrate like this till we win a World Series. But have fun. I do think, the COVID part sucks. And I do think there's probably a little extra amount of people looking for a reason to get out during COVID. And I think that might add to it. But they're having fun. I mean, Tatis is a rock star. But, yeah, I think if the Dodgers beat them in 4 or 3 coming up, I think you'll see a lot of that circle back around on the internet and be like, "Wow, you guys won a wild card game. Congrats!" So it's the do and the don't, but it's fun. Have fun with it. And hey, I think, Jim, we have to eat a little bit of bugs. When Machado originally signs that contract, I think some of the takes were like, "Hey, enjoy irrelevancy," and he's on the sexiest team in baseball.
Yeah, it's true. He's on the most relevant team. I do think like culture-wise, they are the most relevant team in baseball right now.
In baseball, in like the tight community.
Or like new fans, like I was thinking casual fans. They're the
Dodgers are pretty relevant.
I still think casuals might not have the Padres.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. They've been getting a lot of love. Anyone that watches like breakdowns and doesn't watch baseball, which is like half the YouTube audience, they know about the Padres.
Yeah. They know about the Pods.
Anything else?
Do you remember when the White Sox were courting Manny Machado and signed Yonder and John Jay to try to get him to go there?
And then they said that wasn't why they did it.
Same. John Jay, our guy, Trev. We've had a lot of nights.
John Jay. In Miami, huh?
Oh,
you and John Jay.
Me and Aguilar.
That's what I was trying to say yesterday about Machado. He gets a lot of hate, but I can't hate on the guy because all these guys I like love him. I don't really know Manny that well, so I can't pass judgment on him either, but he gets so much hate.
It's so
all
funny,
my boys
man.
love him. So
if you look at the
osmosis, I love him.
One of the Cardinals, they hit a double down the line. It might have been Fowler. And you just see it's Machado. Machado's body language, like he doesn't have that hardo hustle side where he's like, let me get into perfect position for the relay. Like he sees the double and he's like, fuck. And it's kind of how baseball is evolving. And I don't know. I think he's, Dodger Machado tried to go into this role and the bad guy and all of that. And I think he realized maybe that's not his perfect space. Just be you. Cano figured it out. You don't have to be the hardo. Have fun out there.
Hey, Carlos Carrera, or what did your name is?
Carrera.
Sorry.
Like the car.
I know your name. Okay. just take a look at Manny. He just kind of chilled out a little bit. Now everyone loves him.
He definitely tried to lean into it a lot when he was with that Dodgers on that postseason run. And it was like, you don't need to, man. All right, I mean, I think that's everything we got going on. We're going to do a little preview of the ALDS and NLDS series. If you're on Patreon with us live, we're going to do it in 10 minutes. If you're listening on the podcast apps, it'll come out on Sunday, as this one came out on Saturday. That's the plan.
Get it out now, baby.
And we will see you later. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.
Yeah.